Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gordon Foisey. I want to thank you for being here. I'm excited to talk to you today about the Americans with Disabilities Act and specifically how hearing loss affects general communication. The purpose is to inform and educate the listeners to the struggles of hearing loss. Many of us witness hearing loss, but very few of us fully understand it. The complexity of hearing loss is underestimated because we cannot visually identify it. Even when we do identify a person with hearing aids, we may be left with the perception that they can hear properly, when in fact that's very far from the truth. The ADA protects people with disabilities and hearing loss. What is the ADA? Well, the ADA is a law or an act that prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities in any form of public life. Their purpose is to ensure that individuals with disabilities receive the same rights and opportunities as everyone else. Since we're talking about rights, who is responsible for accommodations? Essentially, who is responsible for complying to the ADA? For the purpose today, let's look at schools. Schools have a huge burden. Let me just read to you a portion of what the school is responsible for. Schools must, without charge, they can't collect any money for this, without charge, ensure that communication with students with disabilities is as effective as communication with students without disabilities. Assuming the school provides an accommodation of hearing aids, let's look at how effective the hearing aid actually is, or possibly the limitations of the hearing aid. Let's compare them to eyeglasses. Eyeglasses, put them on, your vision's restored, or your contacts. However, hearing aids, like these two, often make the situation worse. Any environment that has background noise, schools, churches, restaurants, gymnasiums, even talking outside to your friends with the wind blowing, a person with hearing aids is at a huge disadvantage. Two mechanical devices, as I call it, the hearing aid and the microphone that the speaker is holding. The person with the hearing aids is at a huge disadvantage. Understanding the difference between perception and reality will allow us to see the effects on communication. I don't believe that anyone holds a grudge against the hearing impaired, but the language discrimination, as I call it, allows it to happen all on its own. Stereotypes are formed. Once they're formed, they're very resistant to change. Education and awareness is the biggest tools that the communicator can use to communicate with the hearing impaired. In closing, I want to leave you with a challenge. Many of you have online classes, but some of you sit in a classroom and you probably see someone every day that's hearing impaired. Try and pick them out. I'll give you a few clues. They're probably going to sit in the first row. They're going to look directly at the speaker for nonverbal clues. But the thing that they're not going to do is gaze around the room while the speaker's talking. They're going to miss those important clues that they need so badly. I'm going to leave you with that today. Thanks for listening.